Good afternoon, sir. If you permit, can we start the webinar? Uh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, ma'am, and as the guest speaker, we have Dr. N. Jayasankaran with us. I would like to welcome Dr. N. Jayasankaran on behalf of Mangalayatan University, Jabalpur, in the webinar. I'd like to introduce Professor Jayasankaran with you all. He is an eminent professor of management and is rated as one of the top 5 professors of management in India. He is a great institution builder. The Bharatidasan Institute of Management grew in strength and recognition under his directorship. Several of his students mentored and groomed by him are diplomats, head of large corporations, and eminent academicians. Dr. Jayasankaran is an outstanding administrator and is associated with various professional bodies and high-level committees. He started his teacher career as PG professor and HOD of 3 departments: mathematics, statistics, and computers, in the famous St. Joseph's College, Trichinopalli. As an advisor to Chancellor in MUJ University, Mumbai, he has developed many off-campuses in Bangalore, Hyderabad, etc. MUJ Bangalore and MUJ Hyderabad recently got the prestigious M.B.A. accreditation from UK, youngest in the world and 8th in India. MUJ Mumbai also got AACSB accreditation. As a very senior assessor in NAC, he has assessed and accredited many well-known universities in India, like University of Mumbai, Pune, Jammu, Symbiosis, Bharati Vidya Peeth, etc. Professor Jayasankar is also a resource person for training the Vice Chancellors, Pro Vice Chancellors, Senior Directors in NEC assessment and accreditation process under AIM. During the last 4-5 years, he has very successfully mentored well-known large universities and autonomous colleges all over the country to enhance their quality and secure the highest grade with impressive scores. He is the founder and secretary of Ramanujan Mathematical Society of India. He is chairman of IIM Selection Panel. He is the former executive council member of Association of Indian Management Schools, member of NAC inspection team, Central Council member of Operations, Research Society of India, Calcutta, and several such institutions. These were just to name a few. As a very passionate teacher, Sir has been teaching mathematics, statistics, operation research, Indian ethos, and organizational behavior. In his own words, he best describes himself as a teacher and educator first, before any other role in academia. He has a wonderful ability to relate to students of across all ages, cultural and educational backgrounds. He is a strong orator and is invited to speak on a wide array of forums, webinars ranging from online teaching, blended teaching, positive psychology, and institution building. He is truly rare mix of hardcore academician, strategic administrator, and a powerful speaker. We are really privileged to have you on this platform of Mangalayatan University to orient us on challenges of assessment. Sir, I request you to please start your lecture and orient our faculty members.
Good afternoon to all of you, my esteemed friend, Honorable Vice-Chancellor Professor Rao, and also Dr. Vandana, who introduced me in glorious terms, and all my respected faculty colleagues from uh, Mangalayatan University. Uh, Let me at the outset wish you all a very, very happy and prosperous New Year 2024. I think 23 was a mixture of both good and bad events across the globe. We hope 2024 will be full of joy and happiness for all the people in the world. The topic that we have chosen for today's discussion is challenges in accreditation. All of you are senior faculty in the university. Most of you must be familiar with the assessment and accreditation processes of the NAC. But there are very many challenges in the entire accreditation process, and many universities are struggling to cope up with these challenges. I'll today share my experience in handling these challenges. And let me start with the broad agenda that I have set for today's discussion and then go on to the details. The today agenda goes like this. I'll start with what is quality. Quality, excellence, perfection, these are all terms that we very often use without really understanding what it all means. When I say quality, there are various levels of quality, and I will discuss some of the issues in understanding what are the various levels of quality. Quality enhancement through self evaluation. Most of the time, we want quality to be assessed through an external agency, but real quality institutions will have to develop a methodology of constantly evaluating yourself. Like you have self appraisal, you must have self evaluation tools for quality enhancement within the organization. Then, what are the tools for self evaluation? I'll focus on that. And what are the benefits of accreditation? Today, accreditation and ranking have come to stay. You cannot escape it. And Government of India and also Ministry, along with the NAC UGC, is trying to motivate all higher education institutions to go for accreditation. Now, what are the challenges in accreditation? Starting from the preparation of SSR, self-study report, which comprises of quantitative methods and also qualitative essays. It's a proportion of both. It's almost a, proportion of 75 into 30, plus or minus this way and that way. Then getting an IEQ approval, there are huge challenges in that. Uploading the SSR in the portal, there are very many challenges. Then post SSR upload, two things will happen immediately. One, it will go to one of the DVVs. DVV stands for Data Verification Validation Center. Initially, they started with 5 or 6. Now, I think there are about a dozen DVVs across the country. Randomly selected DVV, your SSR will go. Immediately, Triple S will start. Triple S stands for Student Satisfaction Survey. This carries the very highest score for autonomous affiliated colleges. It carries about 60 into 4 mean 240 marks. Again, for a university, I think it is about 30. For affiliated colleges, is again 50. There are variations. When I come to the details, I'll focus on that. These two things will start the moment you submit the report. There are huge challenges in handling the DVV, in making sure that you get a positive student satisfaction survey. I don't know the size of your university. Some of the large universities which I am mentoring, they have 65,000 students or 80,000 students with a faculty base of 2,500 to 4,500 faculty. I am handling such a large, multidisciplinary, multiple campus universities across the country. I am managing about dozen such universities under my consultancy. So I have rich experience in handling all these issues, the finer aspects of how do we make sure that we are able to raise the score by strategic steps. That's very, very important. So these are the broad area that I'm going to cover today. What is quality? Quality, being the very soul of higher education institution, can be characterized as follows. In corporate world, we always say quality is the goal of an organization. For me, for other higher education institution, quality is the very soul of an academic institution. If you don't have quality, you have no business to stay in the education sector at all. For the simple reason, we are preparing the future generations of students in the country. If they don't have good quality in terms of character, in terms of capability to learn, in terms of acquiring depth of knowledge, we are in the business of educating the next generation. If we don't maintain quality, then the quality of the doctors, quality of the engineers, the quality of the priests, the quality of the teachers in the entire country will be substandard. We can never progress as a developed nation. The fundamental point that we all need to understand is the institution that prepare the next generation of students, they are the universities and colleges. Quality is a rather complex and an elusive concept, very difficult to define. If you come with a definition of quality with 20 points, I will add 5 more points to it. If somebody comes with 50, I can add 10 more. It can never be a well-defined concept. Most of the time, the quality is noticed in its absence. When you are traveling, you must have entered a restaurant. We don't know what is the quality of the restaurant. Having gone there, you find flies are flying around. The place is not clean. The waiter nails are not properly groomed. You find this is not the right place to eat. So, if I ask you what are the qualities of a quality restaurant, you will not be able to decide. There again, even in hotel, there are 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star. Even in Bangalore, we have 7 star hotels. Now the norms are well defined. So it's extremely difficult to give parameters for quality. And that is a problem for NAC also. They are trying to measure the proxy values. It is very difficult to measure the quality of the teaching or learning. You measure the proxy variable. That is a problem which NAC also has. They are trying to perfect this art of measuring quality through their manual. Quality of education institution is as difficult to quantify or measure as any other qualities like honesty, integrity, simplicity. If you say how honest you are, will you say I am 90% honest, 85% honest? How do you measure honesty? You're either 0% honest or 100% honest. Harishchandra suffered throughout his life and he did not allow a falsehood to slip through the lips. That was the level of his honesty. How many of us will be able to reach that level? You don't say once in a way a tale lies. That means your honesty is zero. Integrity. How do you measure the integrity? How do you measure simplicity of an individual? These are all terms to be felt and understood, cannot be defined. Same problem, quality cannot be defined. There are various levels. No scale or measurement is available in order to measure quality of education institution. Hence, we need appropriately strategized benchmarks and parameters. That is precisely what NAC is trying to do. They have identified various parameters, QNM and QLM, and they have also given benchmarks for these quantitative metrics. And based on the benchmark, we will be able to find out the score in each criteria, score in each overall score, and then we get a grade. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, does quality cost you anything? Juran, the great quality guru in management, one of the famous quotation, quality doesn't cost you anything, it's an attitude of the mind. Whatever work I do, I will do with perfection. That's what Gita says. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. That means perfection in action. Whatever work you do, whether you are talking, whether you are preparing for the classes, whether you are mentoring the students, whether you are learning, you must be able to show that distinct identity, distinct stamp of quality in whatever we do. If you keep that as your goal, then it doesn't cost you anything at all. It's an attitude of the mind. So, whatever work you do, that's what our Bhagavad Gita also says. There is no hierarchy in the work that you do. You may be the chief minister, you may be a lousy chief minister with no commitment. You may be an ordinary sweeper. You're so committed to the task of sweeping, you're the best sweeper in the world. So, Bhagavad Gita never characterizes the work as higher work and lower work. Actually, there are three terms used in Gita: karma, akarma, and vikarma. Karma is just do the work. Then you do the work with passion, deep commitment, and determination. You do that. Then that is value-added work. If you do the work for the sake of doing it, for the sake of salary, then it is vikarma. Actually, it is disvalue to the organization. So, when you talk about quality, two, three things we need to understand. Quality is very difficult to define. The way we define Pythagoras theorem or the other theorem concepts, we cannot define quality. Then, quality, how do you measure? It's very difficult to measure quality because you are not able to define it. Everybody understands this in their own perspective of what a quality is. And the third point that we need to understand, quality doesn't cost you anything. It's an attitude of the mind. I have seen in this country very small colleges in remote places with only 200 students and 30 teachers doing a fantastic quality work. I don't want to name. There is a college in Kerala on the top of a hill. You have to travel 1.5 hours on the top of a hill, and there are about 3,000 students and 75 faculty. I can say without any fear of contradiction, everybody talks about OBE, outcome-based education. We are all paying lip service to OBE. Even in big cities, Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, I've seen all over the country. None of them understand what is the essence of OBE. Whereas this college, a small college on the top of a hill, they have mastered the OBE the way Washington Accord has proposed. They have actually published 2 volumes, not for public consumption. I said to internalize your own thought process, publish 2 volumes. First 2 volume talks about what are the challenges they face in implementing outcome-based education. Second volume is how they successfully encountered and they have implemented it so nicely. That OBE culture they have created in the entire institution, not in a big city. It's a small village where tribal children are studying, where teachers are so committed, students are so interested to learn. The point that I'm trying to convey is I see the highest quality. They got almost another college which I mentored, they got the highest score in this country, 3.83 on 4, A double plus. And UGC wrote to them saying, you become a university. Will you think that thing will happen? UGC came forward and then said, become a university. So when you are maintaining the quality, the power, position, money, reputation, everything will chase you. Maintain that quality. That is important. It's not happening in big cities. Actually, if you want to know the quality, you must go to remote villages where you will find absolute quality in all the work that artisans do in this country. Now, there are 2 mantras to maintain quality. First mantra is be allergic to mediocrity. Whenever somebody is doing a mediocre job, it may be your colleague, it may be your boss, it may be your subordinate, it may be a student, very politely say, doing this. This is the way you are doing. There's a better way of doing this. Say that politely, even if it means you will have to tell this to your boss. Your colleagues, say that with enough fear. To the student, it is your duty, you need to do that. Number 2, positively be dissatisfied with the status quo. So as senior assessors, I have done 150 accreditations across the country. I am now mentoring more than 12 large universities. Whenever I interact with a student, this is a standard question that we are supposed to ask the students and also the uh, faculty. At the end of interaction, we used to ask, what are the three major strengths of your institute? What are the three areas of concern where you would like to give a suggestion? All of them will be tight-lipped. They will be sitting like dumb dolls in a shop. They will not open their mouth. If you provoke, they say, sir, everything is smooth, fine, and nice in this institution. Probably they have been trained to say this. That means no institution can be perfect. I have been to IIM, IIT, TFR, some of the best institutions I worked. There are scope for improvement even in Harvard, even in Princeton. Nobody can be perfect. Only God can be perfect. If you want to reach perfection, you keep on relentlessly chase perfection, you will land on excellent. Therefore, even in the best of the institution, there are scope for improvement. So you must be positively be dissatisfied with the status quo. Only then you will be able to see in what areas you will be able to improve. So, two mantras to maintain quality is be allergic to mediocrity. Anyone doing a mediocre job, then you try to do that immediately. Be positively dissatisfied with the status quo. There are various levels of quality in higher education institutions. I think all of you must have seen cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. It may be the cycle 4, it may be a 150-year-old university. I accredited University of Mumbai, which is 160 years old. I have also accredited an 8-year-old young university. Use the same manual. You use the same manual for the first cycle as well as for the fourth cycle. What is the difference? This question I have been raising with the NAC. Now the team is working probably to come with different manuals for different cycles. That is the right thing to do. You can't expect the same level of perfection in an institution which is coming for accreditation at the end of 5 years. Now, from my experience, I have listed the differences between cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. What are the differences? In cycle 1, it is a quality assurance. Is one of accountability and compliance and is a minimal requirement to satisfy the stakeholders. You are a university, you are answerable to several statutory bodies like UGC. UGC has given you the power to run a university and award degrees. It may be a deemed university, it can be a state private university, or it can be a central university created by an act of parliament. We are answerable to the regulatory bodies. If you are running a medical college, then you need to follow the MCA norm. Now, National Medical Mission norms, you have to follow. Bar Council norms, you have to follow. NCT norms, you have to follow if you are offering education program. The point is, in the first cycle, your role is one of accountability and compliance and is a minimal requirement to satisfy the stakeholders. You will have to work the stakeholders, students, parents, alumni, companies, and the society at large. They are your stakeholders. It's a conscious effort undertaken by the higher education institution to ensure that the basic objectives, aims, and promises made to the stakeholders with regard to the curriculum, with regard to pedagogy, with regard to evaluation, with regard to academic infrastructure are fulfilled as stipulated by the regulatory bodies. For your information, my memory is correct. More than 60% of the institutions in our country, they don't enjoy 2F12B. There are more than 50,000 colleges and 1,000 universities. 60% of them don't have basic facilities for running a college or university. That's why you don't have 2F. This is a sad state of affairs. That's why most of the institutions are not even coming for accreditation, first cycle. Because the team comes, you are not fulfilling the norms of UGC or norms of AICTE or norms of regulatory bodies. So the first cycle, they give a soft touch to the institution just to see whether you are fulfilling the regulatory norms of the regulatory bodies. In the quality sustenance, which is the second level, I have analyzed about 1,200 SSRs and their results. I have found surprisingly some of the institutions which got an A grade in the first or the second cycle slipped down to a B or a B plus grade in the second or third cycle. Simply because you got an A in the second cycle, it doesn't mean automatically you will get a A in the third cycle. No, you will slip down. People have slipped down. It is just like the mentality of a student who got 46 score, he applies for revaluation, imagining the score will go up in the revaluation. Actually, the score may come down from 46 to 35. It may happen, it has happened. Therefore, simply because you are going to the next cycle does not mean your standards and quality have gone up. Sustenance of quality is more difficult than quality assurance. Sustenance of quality means you have reached a particular level. If you don't do anything at all, you will fall down under the gravity of the same institution. Actually, Peter Drucker is one of the greatest management thinkers, and in one of the articles he says, whether it is a company, whether it is a college or university or a school, whether you are an individual or a group of people, if you don't do anything, law of gravity will operate on you. You will come down. You will fall down. Three things will happen, he says. If you don't do anything at all, as an institution, people will get irritated because nothing is happening in this institution. Either you move forward or backward. You can't be stagnant. You get irritated. But there's no direction. There's no focus. Then second step is you get frustrated. Because you don't do anything, you are irritated. Long period of irritation will lead to frustration. Long period of frustration will lead to underperformance. All people in that organization, whether it is a company or a college or university, or even as an individual, you will underperform. I don't have to do a 3-day MDP for the faculty to underperform. I don't have to teach you how to underperform. You will automatically underperform if you don't do anything. Only to make you perform, I need to conduct an MDP. To take the institution up, to move against gravity, effort is required. To give a simple example, you give a football to a 1-year-old baby. The baby is holding the ball. You ask the baby to drop the ball. What is the effort required from the baby side to drop the ball? Release the fingers from the ball. Ball will automatically fall down under gravity. Ask the baby to throw the ball up. 1-year-old baby doesn't have enough stamina to throw the ball, but it takes an effort and throw the ball. It goes only 1 feet up. You give it to a 10-year-old boy, then probably it goes to 5 feet. You give it to a athlete, he will take it to 15 feet. So, if you want to take any institution to higher and higher levels, enormous effort is required. By mere wishing, wherever I go, when I talk to people, they all say, "Sir, we want to get A++. I want to overtake this university which got 3.66. Other one got 3.71. This is not like buying halwa from the shop. To reach that level, years of honest effort is required. Nothing is achieved in this world unless you take an effort, right? Therefore, to sustain the quality that you have reached in the first or the earlier cycle, there are so many models. One model which is generally popular across the country is what is known as 4ID model. First I is identification of the best practice. Now, you look around and see successful institution. Identify the best practice. Now, try to implement that best practice in your institution. You cannot simply import that best practice, implement it here. It may not work because the vision of this organization, mission of this organization, work culture, and the relevance of the practice may all be different. This is the most difficult part, as the best practice learned have to be indigenized. I know lots of best practices which are followed in Princeton University, Harvard University, Yale University, Oxford, Cambridge. Do you think we will be able to implement all those best practices? No. Even the MIT curriculum is there available in the website. Do we all become MIT standards? Who is teaching? Curriculum is there. Who is going to teach? Who is going to learn? What is the quality of teachers and students in MIT? What is the quality of students and teachers in our institution in India? Therefore, by just following or borrowing a best practice from outside will not work. The values, the vision, the goals and objectives of our institution, you will have to indigenize that. Implementation has to be backed up by action plan, roadmap, role assignment, time frame, and strategic perspective plan. All this will have to be done to implement. Then third is it has to be institutionalized. At this stage, it is important to institutionalize the values and practices of quality assured at all levels of the institution. Probably there's a vice chancellor, there's a principal who is very dynamic. During his or her tenure, things are all going very smooth. After the retirement, there's a huge dip in the quality of the performance of this institution because they are all person driven, not process driven. When I say institutionalized, all those best practices must be process driven. Whether X is there, Y is there, Z is there, is not there, things will go as if nobody is there. Processes will take place. That is the hallmark of a high quality institution. It should be internalized. Every individual must make a determined effort to internalize the quality practices. Then dissemination, you must be able to take efforts to develop the quality consciousness amongst all the stakeholders. Whichever university has reached A double plus with the highest score, it is not just documentation, it is not just SOP, it is not just DVV, it is not just complying with requirements of NAC. It is a success of creating that quality culture in the entire institution, in the department, in the individual, in the way we work. The people, the processes, the program, they should all be driven by high quality values. So the quality culture has to be improved. If once you do that, high grade and high values will all be automatic. Like a student who wants to get university gold medal. If that is the objective, he will be going for tuition, he will be memorizing the answers of the last 5-year question paper, and that will be his approach. Whereas I am interested in mathematics. I want to passionately learn all the intricacies of the subject. I go in depth. I don't believe in shallow learning. I believe in deep learning. When I do that, automatically I will end up in a university gold medal first rank. Automatically it will happen. My focus is not just getting a rank and a mark. There are shorter ways of doing it. Even by copying, if you are not caught, you can get a first class. That is not the right thing to do. My sincere suggestion to all faculty, don't try to meddle with the data, meddle with the values. This is all like a student who's trying to somehow get that first class. Be passionate about accreditation. Be passionate about improving the quality. Create that quality culture in the institution. The rest of it will fall on its own. Therefore, I never, when I mentor an institution, I never mentor them on 1.1.1, 1.3.2. All that I will cover. by improving the total quality culture in the entire institution. I will first point out what are the mistakes you are doing. That has to be corrected. Weaknesses must be converted into strength. That's what you do in management, right? This is quality sustainment. Third one is quality enhancement. Most of the academicians use all this terminology without really understanding what it all means. There are 200 definitions for quality enhancement, but I am an education technology person also. One that is most appealing to me and widely accepted across the globe, I will recite the definition. Quality enhancement is defined as the deliberate steps taken by the institution to bring about a continuous improvement in the effectiveness of the learning experience of the students. See, the entire focus in quality enhancement is learning experience of the student must be enhanced. There should be a continuous improvement. And this cannot be happening accidentally. The university must be able to say, these are the deliberate steps that I have taken. 1, 2, 3, which has resulted in a continuous improvement in the learning experience of the student. There are three components in this definition: learning experience, continuous improvement, deliberate steps. All these three components are internal to the organization. NAC peer team will not tell you how to do all this. Only faculty who are working in your university will know all these. What is the present learning experience of the students? How are you going to improve? What are the deliberate steps that you will take to make this happen? This is where outcome-based education comes. The outcome-based education, you are trying to measure the learning experience of the student. You are measuring the outcome. Till OBE came, in many of the universities, I am in academics for the last 55 years. I have done a lot of academic audits. What do you do in the academic audit? If it's a 3 credit course in a semester, you must have taught for 45 hours. So the auditor will ask whether this course has been taught for 45 hours. They show the attendance, they show the faculty lecture sequence. So I am convinced I put a tick mark. He has done 3 tests, 3 quizzes, 1 midterm, 1 project, comprehensive waiver, project presentation. I put a tick on all this. What is it that I have done? I am measuring the inputs. All that I have done the audit, they are all inputs. You have taught the course for 45 hours. Do you ever ask the question, how many hours students have learned? Have they learned for 5 hours out of 45 hours? Have they learned for 40 hours? They have not learned anything at all. Who is to measure? Concerned teacher is to measure. So, learning experience of the students will have to be measured. There's a process for measuring a direct measurement, indirect measurement. Some other time when I do a workshop on OBE, I will talk more on that. Most of the people across the country don't understand what is OBE. Even if they understand, it is misunderstood, shabbily implemented. Based on my experience, assessment of many institutions across the country from Dehradun to Kochi, I have seen hundreds of institutions. There is no clear-cut understanding of what OBE is. There is another tool management people in this group will understand. I am also a mentor for AICSB accreditation, AMBA accreditation, UKIS accreditation. I have helped many institutions to get these international accreditation. The backbone of all these international accreditation for management, it is known as AOL, Assurance of Learning. Essentially, what you are trying to do is don't measure the input, measure the output, namely the learning experience. There is a world of difference between quality assurance and quality enhancement. Many people get confused. There is a tremendous difference between cycle 1 and cycle 3. Cycle 1, if it is assurance, you are focusing on teaching. Whereas enhancement, we are focusing on learning. Continuous learning experience as a student, I am trying to measure. Teaching as individual performance, learning as a social practice, focus on monitoring judgment, focus on professional development. Top-down implementation by academic administrators who may not be active in teaching. I know many universities where the dean or director or even vice chancellor doesn't take a single course. As a vice chancellor, I used to take 2 courses. As a director of BM, I used to take the maximum number of courses, 6 courses I used to take. So many a time the academic administrator will not do any teaching, but they will be assessing the teaching of other people in the university, assistant professor, associate professor, full professor. It is more of administrative work. Here in enhancement, active engagement of the senior faculty and teachers during implementation. If you are coming to quality enhancement stage, everybody in this university must teach, including the Vice Chancellor. That's what I have done as a Vice Chancellor. Only then you understand the nuances of what is happening in the university. Teaching, learning, whether it is happening properly. I have opportunities of interacting with my students informally outside my cabin. If I am in the cabin, people will hesitate to even enter and talk to me. So I reach out. I go to the student during the lunch in the hostel, talk to my students. I go to the class and teach because I play the role of a teacher. So when I am playing the role of a teacher, I will understand the problems of other teachers. I will be able to handle that with empathy. So that is quality enhancement. Inflexible, non-negotiable approach based on standard. Flexible and context-sensitive approach based on building professional knowledge. Again, we all follow AICT approved curriculum, UGC approved curriculum. How can you have one curriculum for a huge country like ours? I was part of curriculum development committee of UGC. I know this is a very difficult job. Each institution must be able to develop their own curriculum based on the quality of the student, based on the quality of the faculty, and the standard curriculum you will have to fix. It should be flexible, right? That is the essence of quality enhancement. Little acknowledgement between teaching and research. There is no engagement between teaching and research in the assurance establishes links between teaching and research through reflection and practice, undermines professional autonomy through monitoring and surveillance, respects and values professional autonomy. Here, professional autonomy is undermined in the assurance. The third cycle, it has to be enhanced. Focus on the teacher as individual practitioner seeks to increase collaboration between teachers and across disciplines. Emphasis on documentation, emphasis on discussion. Concern with accountability, this is concerned with making improvements. Therefore, quality assurance, QA and QE, they are different. Across the country, I am trying to tell the universities, if you are after the first cycle, don't call your IQAC or IQAC. In the third cycle, fourth cycle, it is nonsense to call that group as IQAC. It is not internal quality assurance cell. It is IQEC, internal quality enhancement cell, internal quality enrichment cell. Fourth cycle is enrichment. People don't understand. This I have been telling NAC also to make changes. I think the new director is very progressive for new ideas. I think soon some of these good suggestions will be implemented. Quality enhancement through self-evaluation. In order to take deliberate steps, it is expected that the institution will have clear strategy on enhancement. Enhancement means deliberate steps. It can be achieved only through internal self-evaluation by responding to the following question. You must ask the question, where are we now? As a college or as university, where are we now? Where do we want to be in the future? 5 years down the line, where do you want to go? Probably NIRF ranking, one may be in the top 100. In the next 5 years, you want to be in the top 50? You want to get QS ranking top 500? What is your goal? Where do you want to go? How are we going to get there? How will we reach? By mere wishing, we will not reach. Lots of planned, monitored work is important. How do we know when we get there? I will give you a simple example for teachers to follow. Imagine I am the captain of a ship. Suddenly I am asked to navigate that ship. I am in the middle of the sea. The regular captain became sick. I am somewhere a passenger, but I know how to. I am a marine engineer. Therefore, they request me to negotiate the. It's only a kind of story I am telling. Negotiate the ship. First thing I need to know my coordinates. What is the latitude, longitude of the ship in the sea? Where am I? The next question is, where do I want to go? I am in the middle of the sea. Do I want to go to Perth, Western Australia? Or you want to come to Cochin, part of South India? Or you would like to go to England? Or you would like to go to US? Which port you want to go? Without that, any direction of the ship is a right direction. You remember this very, very simple. I need to know where I am. I need to know where I want to go. I am in Bangalore. If we want to go to Varanasi for a holy dip, the direction is different. If you want to go to Ayodhya and participate in the temple inauguration on 22nd January, the direction will be different. So, as an institution, when you plan your perspective plan, decide this, where do you want to go? Then, how fast do you want to reach your destination? I'm in Bangalore, I want to go to Varanasi. Okay. My latitude, longitude, clear. Destination also clear. How fast I want to reach? I can do it by walking. I can go by a cycle. I can take a car and then go. I can take a flight. I can engage a private jet also. It depends upon how fast you want to reach. If you want to reach Varanasi in the next 1.5 hours, I need to engage a private jet. Now it is 3 o'clock. By 4:30, I will be in Varanasi. If I have a private jet. If Mukesh Ambani has to do it, all that he needs to do is go to the top terrace, take his helicopter and then fly. He will do it even faster. He need not even go out of his house. He has to go to the terrace and take. So the point that I'm trying to convey is, what is the duration that you want? Nobody talks about it. In many of the vision statement I have seen, I want to be the top 10 in India. Now, top 10 in how many years? After 100 years? After 50 years? Without timeline, no vision is a proper vision. Nobody knows how to write the vision statement. Anyway, that is a 2-day workshop. How to design the vision, what are the components of vision. Now, many times when I go to the inspection, I will ask the principal or vice-chancellor to recite the vision mission of the university without referring to the computer screen. 99% of the people have failed because it's all running to paragraphs. How will you remember? Peter Drucker says any vision mission must be so simple, so practical, it should be on your t-shirt. You know what is the vision statement for Xerox? Be original in copying. Effectively, they are conveying in what business they are in. They are in the copying business. What is your objective? Be original in copying. The Xerox copy must be as sharp, as attractive as the original copy. That is my vision. How beautifully they convey. No paragraphs. No paragraphs. So, in your strategic plan, you should first decide where you are, where you want to go, within what time you want to go, how will you go, right? Then, having gone there, you should know you have come to Varanasi. I mean, like the Columbus, he wanted to go to India, he landed somewhere else. He thought he has reached India. No, he made a mistake. Having reached the place, having reached Varanasi, how do you know you have come to Varanasi? At least you must be able to see Kashi Vishwanath temple. No, if you land there and then see Mahakaleshwarar, you have gone to Ujjain, not to Kashi, right? So, having reached the position, you need to know, because they are all abstract concepts. As an institution, you are moving. You are moving to an unknown destination. You don't know whether you have reached that place or not, right? These are all challenges. This will help you to prepare the strategy. Now, what are the tools for self-evaluation? There are 5 tools according to me. SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. Again, NAC has made a mistake. They don't use plural for strength, weakness. It's a mistake in the manual. Correct it. They put strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges. All of them must be plural. Strengths. Same mistake institutions also do it in their presentation. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. There's a brief history for NAC to adopt this SWOT. Professor Jnanam was the chairman of NAC, and I was a senior assessor. One day we were discussing. In management, we use a tool known as SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That is the term that we use for companies. So Jnanam said, when I said this, Jnanam said, why do we threaten the companies, threaten the academic institution? We will remove the threat by challenges. So SWOT became SWOG for NAC. Thanks to Professor Jnanam, who was my dear friend. AAA Academic Administrative Audit. Periodically, we will have to do, like you do financial audit, academic administrative audit must be done every semester internally, every year, or at least every 2 years with external experts. That is another tool for self-evaluation. Third one is what is known as reflective analysis. Most of you would not have heard unless you have an opportunity to be in London, any one of the top universities in London. You will be familiar with reflective analysis. Reflective analysis is just like writing the best practices in NAC manual. There is a structure. There is a practice which you have implemented, and you reflect on that. How the process or the practice that you have implemented has resulted in positive enhancement of the teaching learning processes. Quality of research has gone up, quantity of research has gone up because of your efforts. That is the reflective analysis. Most of the Indians are not familiar with this. There is another standard, CDIO standard: conceive, design, implement, and operate. Initially, this is like NAC accreditation. It's a European model. They had about 12 standards. Now they have increased it to 28 standards. I will briefly mention. Then there is a very powerful tool known as cross-pairing. The collaborative evaluation model, this doesn't work in India at all. Now, cross-pairing is you will have to identify another university, young university, like Mangalayatan University. I can probably refer University of Science and Technology Meghalaya. It's about 7-8 years old. I mentored them, and the chancellor is a teacher. He was a professor of computer science in Sikkim Manipal University. He has started this university and is running it very well. It is actually near Guwahati. Even though it is Meghalaya, from Guwahati it is 10 minutes. They got an A grade. 7-8 years old, very young. Probably you must identify a similar university and try to compare your parameters and their parameters. Don't compare with the benchmarks of NAC. You compare with the benchmarks of a comparable university, right? So generally, when I am handling very large university, my university for comparison is National University of Singapore. The dean at NUS is my student, Richi Krishna. Therefore, we collaborate very closely. So when I am mentoring very large universities, my point of comparison is NUS, National University of Singapore. So this is another tool I will try to briefly mention as I go along. There are principles of quality enhancement framework: responsibility, ownership, student commitment, and public information. You can remember it as ROSP, ROSCP. Responsibility. It is the responsibility of the colleges and universities must take a responsible approach for maintenance of quality and standard. It is up to the institution to you are responsible for maintaining the quality. The ownership of quality maintenance rests with the institute and not with UGC, AICT, NAT, or NBA or NARF. They are not responsible for maintaining your quality. A sense of ownership must exist for the institution. Now, what is the difference between responsibility and ownership? In responsibility, there are at least two people, like a reporting relationship. A professor reports to head of the department reports to the principal, principal reports to the vice-chancellor of the university, vice-chancellor of the university reports to the board of management or syndicate, they report to UGC, right? So there's a reporting relationship. That accountability and responsibility always exists between two people. Whereas ownership, I am the owner. This is my specs. There is no second person. I am the owner of my spectacle. I am the owner of this water bottle. I am the owner of my mobile phone. I am the owner. There is no second person. Therefore, when I say the ownership of maintaining the standard rests with the institution, only you are responsible. You are supposed to maintain the ownership. Involve the students and faculty. Most of the time in accreditation processes, you keep the students away. Only 2 weeks before the peer team visit, you tell the student what is assessment, what is accreditation. We do the entire work only for the sake of students' better learning. Involve them in the involve the students in the accreditation process. Commitment to quality enhancement by top management. This is very, very important. Principal or syndicate may be, vice chancellor may be interested. Unless you have the support of the management, you will not be able to reach dizzy heights of excellence. Public information, all the information that they are keeping must be in the public domain. That's why NAC always insists your admission policy, reservation policy, seed money policy, scholarship policy, consultancy policy, placement policy, all of them must be in the website. Because you must be open, transparent, professional. Therefore, all these policy documents must be in the public domain. Now, CDIO standards, I will skip this for want of time. It has 12 standards. This was earlier. Now, broadly, what is the program philosophy, curriculum development, design built experience and workplaces, new methods of teaching and learning, faculty development, assessment and evaluation. CDA standards. Now they have 28 standards. I have listed all the 28 for want of time. I am skipping this. There are 28 standards. This is another method of measuring the rubrics for holistic view of learning. This is with regard to learning. I'll just skip. General structure of maturity model. Now, as an institution, you have no intention to change. You think you are on the top of the world. You will get zero. There is an awareness of the need to implement change. I think there is a potential for improving our institution. A plan to implement the change has been produced. You have a strategic plan. Then implementation is underway. Evidence of implementation, measurement of effectiveness are available. Continuous improvement and development is evident. Like we say, CMM maturity model, capability maturity model. So people who are comfortable with IT will know what is CMM 5 level. Therefore, maturity model for improvement, these are all 5 levels of maturity model. This is cross-pairing. It's a very powerful tool. The problem in India is you don't collaborate with another institution. This is a point I have been referring to many institutions. I say you always delight by saying, I have an MOU with University of Washington. I have an MOU with University of Edinco University. There are thousands of universities, good, bad, and ugly, across the globe. All MOUs are foreign universities. How many Indian universities say VIT is one of the top? Look at the top 10 NAR ranking university. VIT is there. Manipal is there. Amrita is there. BITS Pilani is there. How many institutions in this country will be willing to sign an MOU with these universities? Even among these universities, is there an MOU? Among the top 10, will IIT Bombay sign a collaborative document with IIT Madras? No. I will give you a interesting anecdote. I worked with Bharat Ratna C. Subramaniam for 20 years. He was my chairman, the old man. He has worked in all the portfolios in the government of India. He was a cabinet minister, education, cabinet finance minister, cabinet industry minister, worked with Panditji, groomed by Rajaji. Such a person, I worked with him for 20 years. One day we were chatting in his home. He said, you academicians always organize all workshops on industry-institute interaction. It's a very, very popular topic, industry-institute interaction. He sarcastically said, you academicians are useless for any interaction. That's what he said, useless for any interaction. You are talking about industry-institute interaction. Do you have institute-institute interaction? He gave a beautiful example. We were sitting in Chennai in his home. He said, look at Chennai. You have two best institutions. One is IIT Madras. And Sardar Patel Road in Chennai, on one side you have IIT Madras. On the other side, the entry is Anna University, which is again a well-known engineering university. IIT Madras also top-notch in engineering. He casually asked sarcastically, have you ever seen a professor from IIT Madras crossing the road and entering Anna University? Have you ever seen an Anna University professor crossing the road and entering IIT Madras main gate? You're talking about MOU with MIT, MOU with Purdue University. Don't you think it is shame on you? There are top universities across the road, within your nose reach. You don't approach them. You don't want to align with them. That is the problem in India. This cross-pairing technique does not work because every university is seeing the other university as a competitor, not as a collaborator. By collaborating with some of the best universities in our own country, you can beat other universities across the globe in QS ranking. We are all in the top 500. Only some universities are trying to move subject-wise in top 200 or 300. But my feeling is, if all top 10 IOEs, Institute of Eminence universities, both in private and public, will be 15 in number. If they join together and start working, learning from each other, all these 15 will be in the top 200 QS ranking, THE ranking, Shanghai ranking in the next 5 years. Immensely possible. But we see each one of them as a competitor, not as a collaborator. I am only sharing my anxiety. If you can collaborate with some universities, go and do it. The growth will be faster for you. It will be good for the other university also. All young universities join together, share your resources, share your faculty strength, share the research work, go for focused themes. No, all these are strategic steps which will help you to leapfrog and catch up with other well-known universities in India. Quality enrichment. This is the fourth level. Requires enrichment. You see, if you look at the institution, this is quality, total quality management, TQM. Quality enrichment is TQM. Starting from start to finish, there's a value chain. In any academic institution, first chain is admission. Also, faculty recruitment, design of the curriculum, pedagogy, evaluation, graduation, placement and progression. This is the value chain in any academic institution. Now, when you are going for the fourth cycle, quality enrichment, it is TQM. There should be high quality in your admission process, very high quality in the selection of faculty, in design of the curriculum, the way you design the teaching pedagogy, evaluation methods, graduation, and the placement. Every one of these chains will have to be strong. There's a saying in English, strength of a chain lies in the weakest link. Supposing I have a chain with the 12 links, what is the strength of the chain? If one link is weak, it will just break. You put 1 kilo at the end of the chain, it will break because that link can hold only 1 kilo. All other links can carry 100 kilos. No point in having that kind of a chain because the chain can hold only 1 kilo. Other chains are capable of handling 100 kilos. One link can handle only 1 kilo. Therefore, the moment I put 1 kilo and 100 grams, that link will break away and the chain will break. Simple example. So, when you talk about total quality management, every one of these chains will have to be extremely strong. Not enough if you have good admission of student, good student. If the quality of the curriculum is not good, quality of the faculty is not good, quality of teaching is not good, good students will not come to the campus. If these are all bad, placement will be bad. Number of companies will start dwindling. Average salary will come down. So the point that I want to convey is these are all links in the chain. Every link in the chain will have to be strengthened. Only then you will be able to reach quality enrichment. What are the benefits of accreditation? Graded autonomy. You have category 1, category 2 for universities. If it is A double plus category 1, you don't seek permission from UGC to launch a course. You have full freedom. You can even open up off campuses. Now, there are so many benefits if you are a category 1. Category 2 is A plus more than 3.26. UGC clearly says under 3.26, you are a category 3 university, you are giving full opportunity and permission to sit on your head and remove your autonomy. We will monitor. It is up to you to get full autonomy for a university. If you perform well, we will give you full freedom, graded autonomy. If you don't perform, it is not my fault. I will closely monitor you. Eligibility to get grant, 12B you get A double plus, automatically you are able to get lots of funds for your sponsored research from all government institutions. Prestige attached, attract top companies for placement. Today what has happened is companies decide which universities to visit. If it's a normal university, unaccredited, they will never come. If it is accredited B category, they will not come. Top companies like McKinsey, Procter & Gamble, TCS, they will go to only universities which are A double plus with the highest score. Only such universities they will visit for placement. And they want to capture the best talent, right? So quality of placement will suffer if you don't get a good grade. Higher quality of student intake. Good quality students will apply to your university. Best in breed faculty for teaching and research. NAR ranking likely to go up. Best brand building, accreditation and ranking have come to stay. Challenges and accreditation, need for a strong quality oriented IKAC team. Challenges in various levels of quality. There are challenges in cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. I will touch upon briefly. Preparation of SSR, QNM, QLM, IKAC approval. This I have already mentioned. I will go in detail. Need for effective IKAC. The role of IKAC is very vital to sustain the quality. In reality, our research studies show that IKAC is ineffective in many colleges and universities across the country. 3 years before, Arun Nigavekar, the former UGC chairman, and I did a 2-day workshop in Pune. he was old, not very healthy. Even then, we organized a 2-day workshop. Only two of us, resource person. About 40 IQC directors across the country came. We shared our concern why IKSC is so ineffective, not concerned with quality. Then they conducted a small research survey. At the end of 2 days, they gave these reasons. Due to hectic college schedule, it is not possible to do activities other than mandatory ones. We are supposed to teach, we are supposed to do research. Where is the time for documentation, monitoring all the metrics in NAC manual? As per NAC guideline, it is not necessary to conduct academic audit. Now they made it mandatory. DP Singh made it mandatory. Before that, it was not mandatory. We don't have to do it. Suggestion to higher authorities may create controversy. This was very effective point. Some of the teachers who came from private university, they said, sir, whenever we give a suggestion to the top management, the chairman or chancellor thinks we are criticizing the existing system. We antagonize the top management. We are likely to lose the job. Why should we take a risk? So we have lots of suggestion. We don't open our mouth, give suggestion through IKSC at all. We don't do that because there is a huge risk involved. Proper training workshop for IKSC members to be arranged by NAC. This is a general Indian mentality. When I say, why I have not done it, X has not trained me to do this. You throw the blame on somebody. They are throwing the blame on NAC. IKSC is working as a record keeping agency. Now that is what is happening with the new methodology. Everybody looks at accreditation as documentary evidence capturing agency. In faculty performance appraisal, not much weightage is given to IKSC team members. This is again a very valid point. You do a lot of work outside your class hours, no recognition, no reward, no incentive for at least reduction in the workload or recognition or financial, non-financial rewards, nothing. This is another reason why most of the IKSC across the country, they are ineffective. I can count the effective IKSC in the entire country, not more than 1 dozen. Rest of them all, they wake up after 4.5 years, try to do something, try to engage a advisor or consultant. It's a misnomer, consultant, and try to patch up something and do something. That will not work with the new methodology. Distribution of analysis metric. I have taken the university only. There are 7 criteria, 34 key, 32 QLM, 55 QNM, and 87. And number of metrics in QNM, QLM. This is number of marks. 661 for quantitative, 331. Close to 66% on the quantitative, 34% for the peer team visit, qualitative. This we need to understand. Preparation of SSR, prerequisite timely submission of AKR every year. You must have submitted all the 4-5 years of AKR should have been submitted. Otherwise, you are not eligible to go for accreditation. Understanding the manual from different perspectives. You know, this manual is so complicated. You can understand it from the NAC perspective. They have created the manual. You can understand from the assessor's perspective. You can understand from the DVV perspective. You can understand from the instructor perspective. Only before I take up any assignment with the university, I used to conduct 4 workshops. I used to get people from NAC, senior assessor, 1 DVV person from the institute IKSC coordinator. 2-day workshop in trying to understand the manual from 4 different perspectives. Otherwise, interpretation can be different. Only when you start working, you will know hundreds of questions will come. Therefore, NAC has engaged in developing a resource book for stakeholders. There are 4 committee members. I am one of the committee members. I have written criteria 6 and 7, which is easily understandable by stakeholders. Right? Understanding the manual itself is difficult. Collating all relevant data and systematic documentation, including event reports with geotagged photographs, brochure, participant list with signature. When I say event report, what are the components of event report? Most of the universities don't know. What DAC expects, what DV expects, you don't know. Any financial data like scholarship should be reflected in the audited statement. This is again, most of the universities don't do it properly. Interpretation of metrics with deep understanding of standard operating procedure data template. Even in the manual, there are inconsistencies, mismatches. Sometimes they will say 2-day workshop, sometimes they say 5-day workshop. Amount sale say 500 rupees. Another place they will say 2000 rupees. There is inconsistency in the manual. We are trying to sort out all these inconsistencies in the manual, in SOP, in data template, in benchmark, narration. So many mistakes are there. Stabilize the extended profile of higher education. Most of the people don't realize extended profile is the backbone of the entire QNM working. It used to have 14 or 15. Now there are only 5 metrics in extended profile. Extended profile decides the calculation of all the 55 QNM metrics. It will be acting as a denominator. The metrics are all calculated by a computer. So when you say number of students, odd semester, even semester, number of teachers, full-time teachers, without repeat, with repeat, then total expenditure. These are the 5 extended profile values. You need to stabilize that because denominator of many of these metrics, they come from these 5 values. When you give it to the criteria champions, the denominator will be different for a different IKSC members because they work in their own way. So number of students will not be stabilized, number of faculty will not be stabilized. Some people would have taken adjunct faculty as a faculty. You need to first stabilize that because that will impact all your QNM values. That's a huge challenge. Preparation of SSR, QNM, QLM, calculation of various QNM metrics. There are only 3 mathematical tools used. It's not a nuclear science. Percentages, ratios, and averages. Guidelines for QLM essays. So calculation of QNometric percentages. Percentage of new course introduced out of total course. So total number of new courses divided by the total number. This is only all 6th, 7th standard mathematics. Then calculation of various QM ratios. Student full-time FSR ratio. Then student computer ratio. These are all ratios. Third one, calculation of various QNM metrics, average. So, average number of days, publication of results, and last day of the exam. You find out the average number of days. Now, one more thing, when you do all this, you need to understand the units. Some units are in INR lakhs. So, sometime when they write the SSR, they'll say 6.253 lakhs. Some people will say 6,23,564. It has to be in lakhs because the benchmarks are all in lakhs. Computer will get confused, it will give you 0 because the scoring is done by a machine. So the units must be clear. Whether it is a ratio, ratio means 1:5, 1:10, 1:20. Your working has to be in that unit. Right? This is very, very important. Otherwise, you will lose marks because computer is evaluating. These are all finer aspects. Guidelines for QLM essays. Grasp all quantitative data in the criterion before answering the qualitative narrative. Writing scale of the essays to be coherent, consistent. Because 7 criteria champion will write the essays in each criterion. The writing style is different for different people. I have seen SSR where some essays are in the past tense, some essays are in the present tense, some essays are in the future tense. Absolute nonsense. You are writing what you have done during the last 5 years. Therefore, all the essays must be in the past tense. Only when you are talking about the Future perspective plan, it can be in the future tense. This is number one. Editorial assistance to ensure quality of essays. They generally give it to the English professor. English professor may be good in English. They will use verbose language. All strong adjectives like the Tharur, no, Shashi Tharur. They will use fantastic adjectives. Nobody knows what they are trying to convey. It has to be backed up by QNM data also. Each essay has word limit 500 words. So if you cross that, you will lose the marks. Start with flowing method, then paraphrase to make it compact and crisp, adhering to the word limit. Protocol for writing the QLM essays, narration of the QLM metric. I have actually shown one example. Let me see. Identify, jot down the key phrases and in the QLM. Answer should be in response to these questions. When you read the QLM metric, it will have 3 or 4 components. Split the 3 or 4 components. I'll try to demonstrate with an example. Each subcomponent you try to explain, right? 3 subcomponents you have answered. Then collect all these 3 answers, it will come to 800,000 words. Try to paraphrase that to 500 words. This is the protocol for writing the essay. Otherwise, you end up with longer essays, not focused. You write something which are not required. You have not answered some of the subparts. Depending on the heading articulated, identify points, updated document, including this. Collect them all, 1,000, and paraphrase. Let me see whether this opens. It's not opening. IIQ approval, challenges in IIQ approval, many issues concerning with the regulatory body, Section 22 of the UGC Act. All the degrees that the university is offering, make sure it is under Section 22 of the UGC Act. One college in Kerala, their IIQA was not approved for 8 months for one single problem in their IIQA. The IIQA. Right? You need to get IIQ approval before submitting SSR. Now, there was one degree, Master of Hospitality Management, MHM. This is the degree given by the parent university. They have been doing it for the last 20 years, but under the Section 22 of the UGC Act, MHM is not there. But the college cannot do anything. It is the university which is giving the degree. So, NAC suggested, don't call it as MHM, call it as MA in Hospitality Management and get an equivalence letter from your registrar. The registrar refuses to give. Then the college had to go to the court and the court directed the university to give the equivalence. 8 months it was delayed. For no fault of yours, your IAQA may be delayed by 6 to 8 months. It's not easy. I have not gone through that. I am going through that every day. It's a problem. If you are running distance education, question is whether you will come under regular university mode or dual mode or health university. If you are also offering a medical college, will it come under health university? There are 8-9 manuals for university. There's a yoga university, there is a medical university, there is a Sanskrit university manual, there is a law university manual. Now there are 8. Which one is applicable to you? You need to be clear even now, right? Otherwise, you'll face a problem at the time of uploading SSR. Entire exercise will go for a toss. No 2F 12B. As I said, many institutes across the country, they don't have 2F 12B. If you don't have 2F 12B, IAQA is not approved. You're stuck. Reservation policy. Again, there are linguistic minority, religious minority. They don't understand. They say you are not following the reservation policy. Because of that, your IEP may not be approved. Nature of the manual to be used, whether regular, dual mode, health sciences, that's a challenge, huge challenge. Which one to use itself is a challenge. You need to be very clear on this. Uploading SSR in the portal, technical issues. Portal is busy, network unavailable, size limitation. If it is more than 4 MB for the essay, you will not be able to upload. 11th hour submission leads to tension. You start uploading 2 days before, 4 days the NAC network may be down. You miss the last day. You will have to seek extension of time. All this is a headache. It's not easy. Nothing is easy. So you need to be ready at least 2 weeks in advance. Post SSR upload is SSS and DVV query handling. Relating to student satisfaction survey, you will have to identify 60% of the live student. You will have to give their email ID and cell number to NAC. From out of this, they will select 500 or 10% of the total number of students, whichever is less. Identification of 60% of live students on the campus. How do you do that? Preparing the student to understand the vocabulary, like there are questions on the SSS has 21 questions. You will see that in the NAC website, 20 Likert scale questions, 5-point scale, and one open-ended variety. So they will ask, are you undergoing experiential learning, directed learning, independent learning? Student may not know what these are. You may be doing it, but student will not know. You have to go to the class, explain to each student these definition. Stress the importance of high grade, high score for the institution. You need to tell the student why it is important for the student, for the university to get a high grade. If the university does not get a high grade, good companies will not come. Your placement will be hampered. Good company will not come. You will not be able to get into good companies. If you are not studying in a high grade institution, banks will not give you loans. You will not be able to apply for a good university foreign country. Like we are looking at QS 100 ranks, foreign universities are also looking at whether you are highly graded Indian graded university A++ or NIR of top 50. Otherwise, your student will not get admission there. Like we put condition to them, they will also put condition. We need to tell the student, if you want admissions, if you want loan, if you want good placements, be positive in responding to the questionnaire. If you are aggrieved, tell me. If you are happy, tell NAC. Then stress the important. Enlarge the 21 question to 40 questions, because these 21 questions are relating to teaching learning only. Teaching learning extension only. Now, there are 7 other criteria. Ask questions on curricular aspects, research, infrastructure, student support progression, governance, and best practices. Include few more questions, make it 40. Campus life. How is the campus life? So, simulate these 40 questions to all these students to identify the best 60%. You prepare these questions, administer, see how many of them are responding positively. Identify the loyal 60%. DVV interaction will start, they will start seeking more clarification. See, DVV, if they are not satisfied, you give the figures for 5 years, number of extension activities. You say 210, 125, 405, 650, 305. DVV response 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. If you are not satisfied, they will say 0. It is up to you to bring more documentary evidence to convince them. DVV may raise many queries born out of different interpretation of SOP and data templates. Some of them will not be there, but they will ask. For example, you are supposed to do green audit, energy audit. Nowhere in the manual they say it has to be done every year. You will have to do it only once in the 5-year assessment period. But some DVVs are asking, have you done that every year? They are asking more than what is available. These are all unsolicited, unexpected problems you will face. To respond with their answers within the prescribed limit. When they ask a question within 12 days, you may have to answer 125 questions. So my approach to mentoring, I will try to reduce the number of questions from DVV. That means you will have to be pakka in your proof. From DVV perspective, what kind of preparation to be done, I train the universities. Ultimate decision to accept or reject rests with the DVV. They raise a objection, only one opportunity given, you give a response, they may accept, the red color may become green color. Sometimes red color will become green color with the same zero value. You don't have a choice. NAC will not interfere, UGC will not interfere, Government of India, Ministry will not interfere. It is a matter between DVV and the university. That's all. You need to convince them, otherwise you are done. Scoring is automated, measured against a benchmark for each metric. Today, for each benchmark, for each metric, there is a benchmark. To give an example, percentage of PhDs in your faculty. The scoring is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If it is less than 50%, 0. 50 to 60% of your faculty or PhDs 1 mark. 10 to 20% 2 marks. 20 to 30% 3 marks. 30 to 40, more than 40% 4 marks. That is the way the benchmarks are decided. After successful validation, verification of data, DVV gives pre-qualification status, allowing the higher education institution to move to phase 2. That's it. It's already 3:45. Thank you. This the end of my presentation. If you have any doubts, I am available for 5 minutes. I'm actually catching a flight around 7 o'clock. So,
Sir, excuse me, sir. I have one query.
Yeah.
Really, it has been really fortunate for us to have heard you and in detail how, I mean, like in a very motivating way, you have told us everything. I just, one of the questions that I want to ask you is your suggestion. So what are the innovative practices in examination reforms? Examination reforms.
No, exam reform, the major innovation that they can do is to computerize. Then the results will be faster, grievances will be less. I know some universities where they, for 60,000 students, within a week, they announce the results. Everything done pakka. See, they write it on a notepad, on a exam pad with a stylus. The entire answer goes to the cloud. Faculty can download it, no physical handling of the paper at all. You can download the paper using the username and password anywhere, anytime, faculty. You value it very fast, results are announced quickly, and the students also get to know the results. So number of grievances have come down, no retotaling, no revaluation, everything is done. So how effectively you have done the e-governance or computerization of the exam. That is exam reforms. You are a university, you are empowered to do it. Nobody comes into the picture. Yes, sir. Magare.
Sir, I simply wanted to say you pay my namaskar and respect. I am Dr. Magre. We have had a very nice relation when you were there in Mumbai. Now I have become the Vice-Chancellor of Pravara Institute of Medical Sciences.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
that's so nice. You are a Dada in accreditation, sir. In Maharashtra, people swear on you. I'm very happy to see you after a long number of years. Good. Where is this university?
Sir, it is near Shirdi.
Oh,
I'll call you once.
At least to meet you and Baba, I should come.
Yeah. Please do.
You're a bigger Baba. I will see the letter.
I'll find out some occasion if it is not that you are coming on your own, but then I'll find out some occasion to.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Tell me, sir, what answer I can give.
No. This is the only thing that I'm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you, sir. This is Sambasiva Rao.
Yes, sir. Nice meeting you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a very nice, excellent presentation, sir. We are really motivated by your lecture, and it is really motivation for all our faculty members and participants from different parts of the country. And Magaresh sir, thank you very much for joining us.
We are good friends for the last so many years, sir.
This is Sambasiva Rao,
Excuse me, sir. Can I?
Vice-Chancellor of Mangalayatan University.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please go ahead. Sir Rao, go ahead. I couldn't hear you last.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to say thanks for your acceptance and coming to us, and it's very nice. I have no questions. I just only to say thanks to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can I ask
Please.
Can I ask someone?
Yeah, please.
Sir, my question to you is, what will be the examination?
Audio is not clear.
Innovation reforms in practice.
There's an echo. Audio is not clear. There is an echo.
Okay.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Sir, what my question is, what will be the innovation in examination reforms?
That's what I said. Most of the innovation happens in computerization.
Okay.
You see, you need to do the entire process on a fast track. Less number of grievances for the students. So once you computerize, once you are transparent, for example, Xerox copies of the scripts are available to the student. Openness, transparency. These are all positive changes in the exam reforms.
So
Dummy number. Yes, sir.
I lost the connection.
Yes.
So
Please.
So there is a kind of confusion normally what we see, and the 7 criterion which lays much of an emphasis on 2 best practices and a distinctive practice. Many of the times either people they take it alternatively, but then there must be a sharper difference between the 2. So therefore, if you could throw some light on that.
No, you are absolutely right. Across the country, people don't understand what's the best practice. No, you may remember, Magaresh, 2003-2008, there is a committee in NAC. I was part of the committee, 4-member committee, where we used to look at all the best practices from all the SSR. We will pick 25 best practices. We used to publish it as a book in NAC.
That is right.
Up to 2008, I was part of the committee. This was happening. I think Ranganath was the director at that time. Then we found in most of the SSR, they started writing the following as a best practice. We declare a holiday for Gandhi Jayanti, best practice. We hoist a flag on the Independence Day, best practice. It became so nonsensical. He disbanded this committee. He stopped to this activity. Many people across the country don't understand what's the best practice. Now, best practice need not be. I have written a long note. Professor, I will share it with you. Magaresh sir, you have my email ID?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, get it from Rao sir.
Yeah.
Professor Dr. J, I showed it in my last thing I showed. Professor Dr. J at gmail.com.
Yeah.
I have written, this is going to be published as a book by NAC. Criteria 6 and 7 I wrote. Most of the people don't understand what is governance, leadership and management. What is the difference? What is the difference between management, leadership? In many universities, when the department heads or dean make a presentation, they talk about all criteria except 6. They will not touch 6 at all. When I ask them, they say, this governance, management, leadership for the Vice-Chancellor, not for me. I used to tell them, you are a head of the department. You run the place, you distribute the workload to the colleagues in the department. That is a leadership work. Number of papers to be evaluated, assigning of the tests. You as a head of department is a leader, is a manager. How do you do it without friction in the department? Don't say only for the Vice Chancellor governance. Even for the department there is governance. For the department there is a leadership. For the department there should be a... So many people don't understand criteria 6 and 7. So I took up 6 and 7. It may not be possible to cover all that in the 5 minutes. I will share the entire notes I have written for best practices and governance. I will send that. That will be helpful.
Please.
It will come as a book because new director has taken over Kannabiran. So with this forward, they want to bring it out. Editing is all over. See, in a sense, best practice means it is something unique which only you will be able to do it.
Sir, one person is raised hand, no?
That can be in academics, that can be in administrative, that can be in organizational. The way you recruit the student, the way you recruit the faculty, the way you admit the student can be totally different. The way I used to recruit the faculty as a director BIM, as a director and as a vice chancellor also, I don't believe in the normal system of recruiting a faculty. You release an advertisement, 200 applications come, in IM 800 applications come, you do the shortlisting, give 20 minutes to each faculty, decide. How will you decide the faculty compatibility in 20 minutes? You make mistakes in most of the recruitment. I always used to believe we make mistakes in admitting a student, but he will leave after 3 years or 5 years. When you make a mistake in selecting a faculty, he is a dead wood in the system. As a vice chancellor, you and I have power to throw him out. When we do that, entire faculty team will be alienated from us. All of them know that he has made a mistake. When I sack that fellow, we alienate the faculty. Therefore, I never recruit a bad faculty. It's a 6-month procedure. I can decide that how I recruit faculty. It is just like selecting a son-in-law for our daughters. That level of commitment I have in selecting a faculty. I give 2 hours, then I give half a course, then I see how he behaves with other people in the campus, with the non-teaching staff. No, with the director, with the vice chancellor, they will behave nicely. How he behaves with the boy who brings coffee to him, he may behave arrogantly. Will he fit into the culture of my place? All this I decide. 6 months of courtship. Then once I decide, all the faculty whom I recruited, they stayed along for 15 years. 15 years. So this is something unique, best practice. In selecting a student, I simply don't go by CAD. I don't go by I have 17 parameters based on which I select a student. These 2 are the important ingredients in an academic institution. Quality of the students, quality of the faculty. Competent, dedicated faculty and motivated students. They must have a desire to learn. Without that, even if it's 100 percentile, what is the point? See, in the Gurukul, I'm a product of Indian Gurukul. In the Gurukul, they never look at any other dimension. We call it as Jigyasatva, a deep burning desire to learn. Burning desire to learn, in Sanskrit known as Jigyasatva. If that is there, I can take a 45 percentile student, make him as a fantastic manager. I sit in IM interviews, interviewing 100 percentile student, 99 percentile student. None of them are interested in acquiring knowledge. They are dissatisfied with the present job. They are doing coding job. They want to run out of the job. Therefore, they come to IIM. They have no desire to learn at all. I interview them for 5 minutes. They interview me for 20 minutes. How many companies are coming? What is the average salary? How many offers per student? The bloody fellow is yet to get a seat in IIM. He is asking these questions. Right? He is not interested. Nobody has asked what is the strength of curriculum in IIM Ahmedabad. In what way it is different from IIM Bangalore? In what way it is different from IIM Calcutta? Every year I interview 1,000 students. 10 years I have been doing it for IIM. Not a single student has asked about the quality of the faculty, quality of the curriculum. They were only asking quality of the placement. Don't you think it is sheer nonsense happening in one of the premier institutes in this country? He may have 100 percentile, he will not learn anything at all in the institute. Whereas a 45 percentile student deeply interested in learning, I can take him up to highest levels. I have done that in BAM. It's a state university, we follow reservation, 69% reservation. I take ordinary students, convert them as extraordinary students in 2 years. Extraordinary. So, that is the contribution of the institute. Taking 100 percentile student, and you may not be aware, even in IIM, 15% of the students are thrown out at the end of the first year. End of the first year, 500 students are taken, 50 students are thrown out of the system. They are not able to cope up. I used to jokingly tell my friends in IIM, look at what is happening in medical education, in higher education. A doctor doesn't have the choice of a patient. Listen carefully, all the teachers. A doctor doesn't have the choice of a patient. A patient is always sick. Healthy patient never goes to a doctor. Right? Healthy patient never goes to a doctor. Only a sick patient goes to a doctor. The capability of the doctor is to convert the sick patient into a healthy patient in 2 days. Whereas what do we do in academics? You take a healthy student, 2.5 lakh student take CAT examination, choose the 100 percentile, 99 percentile, you have group discussion, essay writing, personal interview, work experience, take all that, select 10,000 out of these 2 lakhs. Within 1 year, they are all from IIT, they are all from TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, Infosys, 3 years work experience. This is the profile. And they are not able to complete the first year of the program. What do? We choose a healthy student, make him sick in 1 year. Whereas medical doctors take sick patient, make him healthy in 1 year. Make him healthy in 2 days. Right? That is the difference between medical education and higher education. Whatever we are doing nonsense. We are doing nonsense. You want to choose the best student, you make him sick as early as possible. Right? Let us honestly, I am asking this question to myself. I am not posing this question to you. My daughter and son-in-law, they are senior doctors in CMC. I know what kind of work they do. There is an accident at 12 o'clock in the night. A team of 7 doctors are assembled. They struggle for 2 days to make the patient survive. Whenever they make a patient survive, there is a sense of joy. They work 22 hours in ICU. What kind of work doctors do, only I will know, because both my daughter and son-in-law are senior specialist doctors in ICU COVID, they were there. COVID ICU, they were there. They will be in the hospital for 3 weeks. They will come home. They cannot even mix with the children. They will quarantine themselves for 3 weeks in their own home in a room. That is the life of a doctor. Right? So, they take so much effort to make a sick patient healthy. Whenever a student fails, I used to ask this question, do we form a team of teachers, a physics teacher, a math teacher, engineering teacher, try to help that boy to pass? We take enormous pleasure in failing that student. I am talking about IIM process. They say, we got rid of the dead wood. Useless fellow, you only recruited, no? You selected these people 1 year before. They become sick in 1 year. And you say they are dead wood. You are happy you have thrown them out. What kind of a system we are in? That Guru Shishya Parampara. As a guru, I must be bothered about my student. Then student will be showing respect to the teacher. When I don't bother about my student or their learning, they will not be bothered about the teacher. I am just comparing what was available in the Gurukula in my days and what is available in the modern schools of excellence.
Sir, there are two people actually waiting for your
Oh,
chance.
okay, okay. Quickly.
Just let
No,
them
I need
ask.
to leave also, I think. I had to catch
Just
a
let
flight.
them ask very quickly,
Yeah,
because
quickly.
they are waiting so long.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, please ask Mr. IQSC office.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Sir, we are from Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. We
Okay.
are eager to know when the NAC revised manual with the binary accreditation will come up, sir.
No, you are in Mudarhalli, right?
No, sir. Puttaparthi, Prashant.
Prashant.
Oh, Prashant Nilayam. No, I am a great devotee of Bhagavan. This is the one materialized by Bhagavan given to me.
Sir, we will be full of joy if you can come
Your
here.
V.V. Giri and Sanjay Sahan is there? Sanjay
Yes,
Sahan.
sir. Yes, sir.
Convey my regards to him. They are all my good
Sure,
friends.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we will love to have you here when you come next. We contact.
Sure, sure. No
Sir,
problem.
he is the deputy coordinator and I'm the working in IQAC office. So both of us.
Very good, very good, very good. So, you see, my internal feeling is from January or very soon, the manual may go for a drastic change. People are talking about binary,
Yes, sir.
either accredited, not accredited. Then not with the present accreditation of 1.5 on 4. No, accreditation itself will be very high.
Okay, sir.
Among the accredited institution, there is going to be 5 levels. Category 1, Category 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 levels among accredited. Category 1 will be on the lines of Indian Institute of Science, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Indian Statistical Institute, National Institute of Eminence. It is going to be at that level. This is the indication I get from the ministry. Thinking. Actual thing they are working will take some time. But basically, as I said, don't be bothered about these changes happening. Intrinsically try to improve the quality within the system.
Yes, sir.
That's the only way. I think when Bhagavan was there, you got the highest score, A++, 3.95 or something like that. Bhagavan and others came. V.V. Giri was the Vice-Chancellor. Giri is a good friend of mine. He stays in the campus now.
Sir, he is no more, sir. He
I
passed
know.
away.
He had a cerebral thing. I met him. He lost the speech. That was 4 or 5 years before. I saw him at that condition. Very good friend of mine. I am sorry to hear this.
One person is waiting, Satya Sri. She is also raising hand.
Okay, okay. Tell me,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
Tell me, tell me.
Yeah, I am very much privileged to ask you the question. Actually, I have gone to the 6th criteria.
Okay.
So in that one, IQAC responsibilities or functions you have asked, but that is even applicable for the first cycle also.
Yes, yes, yes. The confusion is there. Initially, NAC said IQAC will be formed after the first cycle.
accreditation.
Now,
Yeah.
subsequently, most of you are not aware, UGC has clearly mandated when an academic institution is established, IQAC has to be formed.
Okay.
You don't think of quality after the first cycle. Think of quality from day one. That is the UGC directive.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, hello. Sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, tell me, sir.
Sir, this is Professor Rajiv Upadhyay, Dean Faculty of Agriculture in Medicare University in Indore. I have no questions, sir. It's a very elaborative and very self-explanatory talk. I may convey I want to convey my gratitude to you for your ingenious way of explaining the accreditation process and quality.
Thank you, sir.
So kind of, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, please, Vandana, you can propose vote of thanks, right?
Yes, sir. It was such an informative and motivating lecture delivered by you, sir. We are surely going to benefit from this. And it was really full of enthusiasm. You spoke all the things and it was a great lesson to us. I thank on behalf of Mangalayatan University. Thank you for being with us. And I just request our Pro Vice Chancellor ma'am, because she made me a request that I would like to speak to sir at the end of the webinar. She just want to propose something to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm Professor Saluja, Pro Vice Chancellor here in Mangalayatan University. And
Okay.
it was a really privilege, and we are really lucky to have listened to you in detail, though we have, fair knowledge of, under the guidance of Professor Rao, we have fair knowledge of accreditation assessment, but you gave this lecture was exhaustive. And I must appreciate that that NAC is now considering different performer for different stages of accreditation, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3.
Correct.
And also your stress on learning experience, that is for the quality. And of course, and we as controller of the institution, like the mission statement that you gave the example of Xerox, that be original in copying. It was actually, really motivating. And yes, we have to, we have to know our mission by heart. We have to know what we really want to achieve. And also through your importance of the extended profile, that was a great. And actually, we would like to have 2 days that workshop to understand from the different 4 perspectives that we would like to have, sir.
Yes.
We would really like to have, and I will request my respected Vice Chancellor, sir, so that we can have this 2-day workshop also. So that all our faculty members can, understand from the all the 4 angles. And that is what I really thank you to you for this exhaustive talk, and in a very lighter and with very good examples you explained to us. Really thankful to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for all the teachers and my esteemed friends, to give me this opportunity to share my experience with all of you. And anytime any help is required, I am at your service.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Magare. Thank you, Rao.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Rao sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rao
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Rao Saab, thank you very much for having given us an opportunity to listen to such a
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
great man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My
Sir,
gratitude.
thank you.
Sir, very good.
Thank you, sir. Magare, sir, you are welcome to our university, sir, anytime when you. Thank you, sir. Upadhyaya, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.